This is week 14, and here are your matchups. If you didn't know, before I get into matchups, if you didn't know, it is playoff time. Playoff time, yeah. Really hope you all made it, but you didn't, and I know you didn't because only 8 teams do. If you didn't know you're not in it, then here's some news for you. Those would be Stroker Ace Logan. He come in last place, and he will be kind of forced to do the punishment of this year. Again, back-to-back seasons. It's tough. You did put up a good fight. You almost didn't. You almost got out of it. And we're kind of rooting for you, but here we are. You know what? You didn't make it, and so you're going to have your options. We'll talk about that, after the season's over. I'll send out a list of rule changes, and people have thrown some stuff at me here lately of things they would like to change or set some rules in place, and go down that line. And those are all things that I will question at the end of the season, so we can kind of go over that, and I'll send out a questionnaire, yes or no, basically, like I did last year, of things we would like to keep, like to change, like to remove, like to set in place. So that's just kind of where we're going on with that. And there is certain things that we can't change due to the app, but I don't, I know Chad's asked a few times to move it to 10 teams, and that option really isn't, there's not an option for it. I don't know of an app that will allow you to go to 10 teams with 12. So that's kind of something that's out of the hands of what I can do or change. And I don't even think that's available in any app. I think it's just 12 teams. The most you could take is 8. 10 teams, the most you could take is still 8. But things like that, we'll go over all that later on, the last week of the season. And I want to do it at the end of the season and get all the questions and all the answers that I need at the end of the season, because by next season, most of y'all are going to forget kind of what we were doing, this current season, or you're not going to, for the most part, remember how you felt about certain things, or what, things come up. So at the end of the season, week 17, I will, make a list of things to just kind of go over everybody and see how they felt about it. Because ultimately, I want to make it year by year the best that we can make it, and keep people entertained and wanting to stick around. So we will do that. But week 14, this was the last regular season matchup, and we'll jump into it with AP 15, who secured the number 4 spot in the league. He scored 131.66 points on the week versus Stroker Ace Logan, sitting at 3-11 and 12th place, missing the playoffs with 87.96 points. Aaron, your team looked like this. You had Russell Wilson at QB, 15.46. Jahmyr Gibbs, 17.2. Austin Eckler coming out of nowhere, 21. Garrett Wilson, definitely needs Zach Wilson to throw to him, 20 points. Rashid Rice, 18.2. Michael Pittman, 19.5. And on your bench, you had Kyle Pitts, 14.7. Nothing other than that. Most of your guys were on bye. And Logan's team looked like this. Matthew Stafford, 23.66. He's been having a string of just 20-plus points, I think, over the last 3 weeks. You had 14.9 from Tyler Lockett. Ferguson, 12.2. That was all from your starting position. But you had T. Law with 17 and Jaden Reed with 20.5 on your bench. Wouldn't have gotten you the dub this week, but It was a good fight, I gotta say. Strong end to your season, I think. Hopefully take that on into next season. I know that's a long time, but still yet. Rooting for you. I hope you stick around and continue to get more familiar with the game, with fantasy. Next matchup, you got Feeling Like Patrick. Demon Face. 6-8 on the season. This is Pedro. Sitting in 9th place, just outside the playoffs. That does suck. I understand. I understand that you're in the same spot as I was last year. Barely missing out. It all came down to points for me. And it was tough, fighting the whole season, and you're right there, and comes down to other people's matchups, basically, to knock you out. You scored 115.72 this week versus Dookie Squad. Blake, who scored 146 points on the week, finishing 7-7 in the 6th spot in the league. Pedro had Brock Purdy with 21, David Montgomery 11, DK Metcalf 13, Brandon Ayuk 16.6, George Kittle 16.6, Puka Nacua 14, McPherson kicker 10. On your bench, you had Singletary with 12.5, and not much else other than that. You lost by 31, so you really didn't have anything on your team that would have fixed that. Blake scored 17.94 with Dak. CMC had 16. ETN 17. Chris Godwin 10.3. D-Hop 25.4. Barkley with 23. Dolphins defense 12. Jesus. Yeah, on your bench you had Jake Browning 23.7, and that was it. Getting the dub. Nice week for Blake. Next matchup. We had the goods, Austin, 12-2 on the season, finishing at the top spot with 141.84 points this week, versus 92 points total for Shelky. He 4-10 on the season, finished 10th. He is outside of the playoffs as well. Austin's team looked like this. He had Patrick Mahomes 13. Kyron Williams, 14. Keenan Allen, 12. Devontae Adams, 12. Travis Kelce, 14. DJ Moore, 26. Amari Cooper, 12. Saints defense, 24. On your bench, you had Jerick McKinnon with 12. And Eagles defense with 11. Solid. Almost everybody on our team double digits outside your kicker and Josh Jacobs. Sheldon had Justin Fields with 24.7. I didn't realize he went off like that. Gets the Lions. Nice. Javonte Williams, 18. Cole Kmet, 11. Jets defense with 12. And on your bench, you had the Browns defense with 13. Nothing there would have shifted that game. Next matchup. We have Flap Jackson, baby bags, versus Chris G90. Flap Jackson, baby back. Sheldon Joyce, 3-11 on the season, finishing next to last. Very close. He had 92 points on the week versus 172 by Chris Garza. 6-8 on the season, sitting in 8th spot. He squeezed right into playoffs, just overlapping based off points over Pedro. Sheldon's team looked like this. He had Tony Pollard with 16, Devon Achane 12, AJ Brown 16, Chris Olave 12, Brandon Aubrey 22. At bench, he had 16.58 by Will Levis. And that was it. Pretty much. Nothing really would have swayed this game. Yeah, I can't believe, man. You'd have lost by 80 points this week. I mean, Chris's team just decided this was the week. And Isaiah Pacheco didn't even freaking play. Holy crap. You had Josh Allen with 20. Raheem Mostert, 23. Debo, 34. Lord. Devontae Smith, 10. Evan Ingram, 32. I didn't even realize Evan Ingram went off for 32 points. Cooper Kupp, finally, 25. Adam Thielen, 12. On your bench, you had Zeke with 27. If you had played Zeke in there over Pacheco, you're talking almost 200 points. My gosh. And that was it on your side. Great week for Chris. Next matchup, we have fuck around and find out. Blake, 9-5 on the season, sitting in third versus Mend Over and Take It. Chad, who is 10-4 on the season, sitting firm. Second place in the league going into playoffs. He had 126 points on the week. Brandon's team, he had Rashad White with 21 points. Jalen Waddle, 13. Hawkinson with 10. Zay Flowers, 20. On your bench, you had Mayfield with 20. And that was it. Chad's team. Chad had Alvin Kamara, 13.5. Mixon, 21. CeeDee Lamb, 19. Jared Cook, 25. Cortland Sutton, 15. He just makes some freaking massive catches every game here lately. Just one-handed touchdown catches left and right. I'm surprised he had the season he did, honestly. I mean, come out of nowhere, but trash almost every year because he doesn't do anything. And here he is. Just putting up consistent numbers, you know. Then you had Jake Elliott with 10. On your bench, you had Derrick Henry with 18. Tajay Spears, 17. Odell Beckham, 19. You had guys on your bench. Sheesh. Good stuff. Good stuff. That was that matchup. And our last matchup on the week, we had Trades for Days, myself, sitting at an 8-6 record in 5th spot versus Lot Lizard, 152.64. Boy, did he need that win to make playoffs. I'll be honest. I didn't think I had to worry. My bad. I'm just now hearing my daughter just messing outside my door. That's on me. Skyla, take that somewhere else. Please. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. After this, I need you to get away from the door. You're making too much noise. Sorry about that. We had Lot Lizard was 7-7 on the season, jumped to 7th spot. He could have easily been knocked out. I really thought I was gonna, I didn't assume. I did assume I'd win this week, but it didn't matter in my end. Regardless of win or lose, I would have played the same position, same player I would have played this week. So it didn't matter. But for you knocked out Pedro by beating me, and that, like last year, you squeezed right in. Had a pretty great week on the week also. I had Tua, who had 9. I don't know why I said him. Breece Hall had 26 points on the week. Bijan, 19. Tyreek Hill only had 10. David Njoku, 27. Justin Tucker with 12. On my bench, I really didn't have anything. So that wouldn't have helped me get the dub. Nothing would have gave me the dub this week. Surprisingly, I really thought Tua and Tyreek were going to just go off this week. But Tyreek got hurt pretty early on in the game, but he came back and didn't really do a whole lot. But what do? Worked out in your favor. Stewie had Lamar Jackson with 31, Jerome Ford with 13, Chuba Hubbard 11, Drake London 29, Deontay Johnson 14, Isaiah Likely 19, and some solid numbers from the rest. On your bench, Kareem Hunt 10, and nothing else going on there. Getting the dub this week. Good job. You know, is what it is. We know what playoffs look like. Let me go into those matchups real quick. Let me see. Just kind of go off of what we're looking at. First round of playoffs. We have Austin versus Chris Garza. And that same bracket, on that same side, we have AP15, Aaron Pitts versus me. The other side of the bracket, we have the brothers, Blake and Brandon, both playing each other week 1, or first week 15, but the first round. Then we had Chad versus Stewie. Nice. That puts you on the 2 and 3 spot over in the other bracket. And we'll see. I mean, everyone outside of Chad and Steven, that's the biggest difference in projections. The rest of us are, 3 points. Austin and Chris are the next closest. You know, there's a little bit of a difference there. There's about 7-point difference. But Chad and Stewie, there's a damn near 30-point difference there. So we're going to see how that shakes up. Playoffs change, man. We're the ones that made it. And none of these the way this season's been going, dude, there's just no telling what's going to happen from one week to the next. Who gets hurt, who doesn't play, who goes off that week to get you the win. So it's going to be fun. And I appreciate everyone that's obviously been a part of the league. And thank you guys. Let's go on to this next week and see who carries it out. See ya.